Hi, I'm Graham Bullock, and I'm just going to go over a few issues that students have when trying to surface a mesh to professional standards. Now this is a mesh surfaced by a professional alias surfacer, and I want you to notice straight away a few things. That he's used very few degrees, that means very few CVs. He hasn't tried to do the whole sidewall in one surface. He's put a smaller surface in here to help capture this area of the mesh and to take a lot of the tension out of this corner and to enable him to get around this corner with just 5 degrees. If this surface boundary, for example, here had been more forward there, then to get around here with 5 degrees may not have given enough holes. So you may have had to go to 6 or 7 degrees. The more CVs you have, the harder it is. Again, at the back here, this is a surface planar, and as you can see, it's just degree 4 by degree 3. And here we have degree 4 by degree 3. Okay, a lot of students don't have powerful computers, and to use the deviation shader all the time is a slow old process. So a quicker way to do it is just to go render multi-list shaders and assign a blue shader to the mesh and a yellow shader to the surfaces. Now you can use quality shade, or you can use fast shade. And you see that when your work is when your surface is very close to your mesh, you get this snowflake effect, and it has to be very, very, very close to get this to happen. So this is a very good way to work. I'm just going to show you what the tolerance on this is. This is a deviation map. I'm going to set it to, but I'll leave it like that, set to 0.4 for the moment. And as you can see, most of it is to within 0.4. But let's go to, by the way, notice how I'm moving it. I just hold that bar and I move it with the left mouse button vertically, and that gives me very subtle control. And you can see that if I go to 1, here's my acceptable distance, everything is green, and I can come down here and I can find where my mesh point is. Let's type in a value. Let's type in a value of 0.6. So I think we can say it's 0.8. Well within industrial standards and with very few CVs. Okay, let's move on then to see how to get to this level. I'm using just E. There is my hotkey for pick nothing. Now, first of all, critical points are where you put the 10 point. In other words, where the, if you like, the sidewall surface meets this blend. You have to experiment and move it around. So, okay, I have direct history here on this corner surface. If you don't have, just realign it to these two parent surfaces. And let's show you a few things that you can do now. Let's pick my shelf. I'm going to take this extend tool with extrapolate and merge on, and then if we grab the parent surface and we can move it around, then you see we can affect the way that the surface is married to the mesh. Okay, and also we can skew like so. So that's an important tool to use when you're trying to get a surface close to the mesh. Come down here and type in a value of 999 there. 999 because it's much quicker to type than 1000. And we're going to use move CV NUV. I'm going to show you what happens if I move that 1 CV. You see how that tangent CV there is driving this whole area of the mesh. So if I move it back again. So when you reach this kind of an understanding about how the parent services drive the child services, everything starts to become a lot easier and quicker. Next thing I want to do is take slide, and when you use slide you have to change the value down here. So a typical value would be say 15 or 20, something like that. I'm going to slide a CV there. So, and then I'm going to show you how to spot that. Obviously I've exaggerated it, but how to spot that problem. And also I'm going to move it out. It's moving in, but it doesn't really matter for what we're trying to do here. If that happens, it's because the surface has become disassociated from its shader. So the quickest way to sort that out is just to take the deviation shader, and there it is done. Now I'm going to show you how to sort out this problem here, how to recognize it, find it, and sort it out. So first thing to do is put a point of focus there, for example, and then turn your model. We're going to put it actually there, right where we're working. Turn your model like so in perspective. Do this in full screen mode. Now you can see that this CV has to slide. Shift Z spacebar to bring up this interface. I'm going to slide that CV into the right place. That's the first thing I'm going to do. Now to really assess it, you've got to look along this hull. So to do that, come over here and pick this control. That will enable you to swing your model around like so, and then when you get it into the right position, so you're looking straight down that hull like so, then click it again to disengage. Moving closer, and move CV, NUV, and bring it back in line. Look at the other CVs here to find out where it's supposed to be. You see its relationship here, and bring it back to there. Change the mouse sensitivity to 999, hit enter, and I'm just bringing it back to where it should be. So come over here and look at, and there it is. Try to do all this work using the direct history on this surface, so you never have to touch this surface. Everything is done by moving this point here, the boundary, using the extend tool, and moving these tangent and curvature CVs to have an effect on this surface here, to bring it nearer or closer to the mesh. And just as an aside, to finish off this video, I'm going to show you some finer points of using the align tool. So I'm just going to align this blend back to the parent surface. Okay, some things that are obvious is that we can slide the tangent hull and the curvature hull, the G2 hull, and these are scaled together by the align tool. So if you move the tangent hull, it will automatically move the G2 hull in a scaled ratio. We can skew like so. Okay, now what if we want to change this ratio? Well, come here, and where it says tangent and curvature CV adjustment, just uncheck under there, scale curvature from tangent, uncheck that, and that opens up this option here. So now we can move that CV row there independently, or we can type in values for start, which is here. So let's put in 2.5, and you see the effect that that has. So now I'm going to bring both of these back to 2.3. This is the default position here, edge align, but we can elect for skew, and then we can skew the surface like so, and we have control over each end independently, etc. So there's a few points on the align tool, which is a very useful tool, but just to clarify remind you in fact before I finish, is that normally if I was surfacing this mesh, I would never touch this surface. I would just build this surface here as a square surface. You know, sometimes depending on where you are on the mesh, what size the surface is, you could use a freeform blend or a skin surface, but I would build it as a square surface, and then I would do all the controlling of this surface would be done through moving these CVs and hulls in the two parent surfaces. So I hope that you found that interesting, and it helps you to master the art of surfacing a mesh a lot more quickly. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch my video.